Welcome back to another reading of Hot Flash Divas. There's been a lag of several days from me posting a video, and there's a good reason. I repainted my breakfast area and connecting kitchen. Looks great. However, I will say this. If you ever go to find a new home, and the real estate agent says to you when entering a room with disgusting, awful paint, it's just paint, it's cheap. No, it is not. Paint itself is somewhat expensive and all the tools that go with painting, but your investment in time is expensive. It took me 3 days to complete painting the wall, taping it off, untaping it, and doing trim. Painting is not cheap. Today we're reading chapter 43 titled, Shall We Dance? Nathan Rome arrived minutes after I did at Lowe Mill. Formerly a textile mill, it was renovated into artist lofts and interesting little stores. The place sat in the middle of a dicey neighborhood. I was pretty sure I saw a former patient dealing on the corner when I turned onto the road that led to the gravel parking lot. We were lucky to be able to park next to each other because the lot was filling up. Nathan bounded out of his red Sebring convertible and opened my door. Hi there. Offering a hand, he assisted me from my car. Delighted, I once again asked myself, when was the last time Todd helped me out of the car? I couldn't remember. Are you ready to burn the floor, as they say in the golden ages? Nathan did a little tap dance on the gravel. I laughed as I watched his shoes kick up dust. My dance shoes are sizzling hot. At one end of the renovated mill was the Flying Monkey, a place where bands premiered and dances sometimes occurred. Tonight a swing dance was in progress and I was ready to boogie. Once in the building, we walked up metal stairs and pushed open a lime green metal door to the second floor. A glass blowing studio loomed straight ahead, and the artist was at work. We paused for several minutes to watch the muscled woman pull her rod laden with molten glass out, twirl it, and place it back in the fire several more times. We walked hand in hand down the main corridor looking at the wild colors and displays of the studios and shops. It looked like a 1960s flower child fairy decorated it. I sniffed the air like a coonhound and looked at Nathan. Do you smell bread? He sniffed and pointed to a table to my left. A sign on it read, Fred's Bread. Loaves, $10. Place money in the jug. A gallon milk jug with the top cut off was stuffed with bills. A lady dropped a 10 into it and picked up a loaf of bread. Must be the honor system. I pulled Nathan over to the bread. The aroma was fantastic. I chose a loaf of jalapeno cheddar bread and dropped in a 10. Nathan fished out his wallet from his back pocket. I want the rosemary bread. He dropped in a 20 and took out a 10. I could hear the band start up down the hall. Holding our bread, we made our way to the ticket booth where Nathan once again produced his wallet and paid our admittance. The front entrance of the Flying Monkey was a wall painted with a giant monkey face with wings. This wall forced us to walk left or right. After we had turned the corner, we faced a wooden stage. Wooden bleachers wedged the installed dance floor between them and the stage. Small tables with folding metal chairs dotted the open areas on each side of the dance floor. The whole setup was crude, yet quirky. The original wood floors were rough. Plumbing and air ducts were visible above. Let's sit at a table. Nathan chose one a few feet in front of us and pulled out my chair. I smiled, feeling like a princess. Hope this band is good. He pulled out 2 bottles of water, one from each coat pocket, and placed them on the table. Me too. I frowned as I struggled to buckle one of my dance shoes. Drat, this thing always gets hung up. Can I help with that? I swung my foot onto his leg. Now it was his turn to frown as he maneuvered the buckle. Women's shoes are a lot more complicated than men's. There, I got it. Thanks. I pulled my foot off his knees because his hand had strayed from my ankle to my calf and was on a journey up to my private parts. He sighed and the moment passed. The band began their set with a peppy tune, so we started dancing. Except for the break, we never sat down. Every time a guy walked in my direction, Nathan took me by the hand and led me to the dance floor. He guarded me like a terrier, only I didn't like feeling like someone's territory, especially after the creepy experience I'd had during last night's date. The air conditioning system's feeble attempts to push cool air around the room left me glowing like a 150-watt bulb ready to explode. Due to the crowded dance floor, several people had trod on my feet. A couple during the Lindy Hop near us seemed to be unaware of dance floor etiquette. He wore a red t-shirt, and she wore a polka-dotted dress. Show Off elbowed me and seemed unperturbed by my glare as he whipped his date around, crashing her into me. I took flight. Nathan caught me and managed to keep his feet by backing up several steps. He lowered me to my feet and gave me a gentle, lingering kiss. He smiled, took my hand, and led me to our table. Are you injured? I frowned and rubbed a foot. Not from that incident, but my feet aren't happy from being stomped on by some of the other dancers. The floor is so crowded. That guy in the red shirt is dangerous. He's not looking to see where he's sending his dance partner, said Nathan. His partner is the one who bumped you off your feet. I nodded. He's a dance floor hog and a show-off to boot. We watched as show-off broke off into the Charleston. His partner was doing a daintier version, but he swung his arms and legs wide. A couple I recognized from a ballroom class was doing a triple-step swing nearby. Dan and Rita better watch out or show-off may clock them, I said as I pointed in their direction. On a back kick, the wild dancer's foot connected with Dan's crotch. Dan howled in pain, his face turning as red as show-off's shirt. Dan's hands tried to cover his tools of the trade as he swayed this way and that, and then his face paled and he hit the floor. Once there, he curled into a ball. Ouch! Nathan cringed and looked away. The music stopped. Time to go, I said, unbuckling my shoes. It's dangerous out there. Nathan bent over to untie his shoes. The dance is nearly over anyway. Show-Off was on his knees beside Dan. I'm sorry, man. I didn't mean to do it, honest. Nathan and I retrieved our bread and shoes and scooted out the door of the Flying Monkey. Walking out hand in hand, we laughed about the look on Show-Off's face when he realized that he creamed the guy behind him. Poor Dan. I just hope he's all right, I said. I was feeling my way over the gravel in the dim light when Nathan took my arm to offer stability. I looked up and ground to a halt. Kent Lance leaned against my car with his arms folded. The sneer on his face was barely visible in the dim light of the parking lot. I see you ditched me for another guy, a bald one at that. I could hear the blood pounding in my ears. I felt scared. What are you doing here, Kent? Are you following me? My fear was transforming to anger. I didn't like the way you jilted me last night. I'm the one who decides when a relationship is over. Kent took several steps toward me and reached out as if he planned to grab me. I stepped back and Nathan stepped in front of me. Several of the other dancers who were returning to their cars crowded around. The lady would like for you to leave. Nathan's voice was calm, but I could feel the waves of tension bouncing between the two men. Nathan's hand clenched and unclenched, almost as though he welcomed the opportunity to release some aggression. My heart was racing fast, and I felt like I might faint. I didn't hear her say a word. Kent rested his hands on his hips and jutted his chest forward, making himself appear larger. I swallowed hard, trying to keep my voice steady. Please leave. We only had 2 dates, Kent. It wasn't a relationship. I don't want to hear from you ever again. Several of the men moved in, forming a line in front of me. A lady I didn't know grabbed my arm and pulled me off to the side. You heard the lady. Nathan took a step forward. From my new vantage point, I could see his jaw muscle flexing. Kent eyed Nathan. Time seemed to flow like a glacier as the two took each other's measure. Kent was the first to break eye contact. He looked at the line of men, 6 of them now. He took 1 step forward and spit on the ground in front of Nathan. The woman standing next to me gasped. Kent looked over at me, his face hard with anger. You can have her. She's an ice queen anyway. He turned away and faded into the darkness. The people around us all began to talk at once. I exhaled my relief. As the tension left my body, I felt like overcooked linguine. Thanks, guys. I appreciate your help. Damn fool's crazy, a male voice declared. Nathan held the door for me as I slid into my car. I rested my head on the steering wheel for a moment to let my heart rate slow. He leaned down to look in at me. I'm following you home to make sure that guy doesn't try anything. He looked around, trying to spot Kent. I didn't want him to escort me home, but I was more afraid for him not to follow me. I nodded, okay, but I'm not making extra turns to ferret him out, just in case. That's how Nathan made it into my house. And to this tune of music, I would like to say thank you, have a great day. Please subscribe, make comments, and please share. Be safe, be healthy. Goodbye.